All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I accidentally hit disable autosave, so I'm gonna actually start that at the beginning of the run. I'm just gonna turn on autosave in case something goes wrong. Alright, so this is Crash to any percent. You're thrown into the intro at the beginning, but you can actually quit out of the intro right into the warp room.
That's pretty epic. Gosh.
And one thing I did right there is I actually went into the options and I inverted jetpack controls, because that's how it is in the original game, and I can't be bothered to relearn it non-inverted. Alright, so I'm gonna do a little something slow because I messed up at the beginning, and in case of any soft lock, I'm gonna actually turn on autosave. And so my route is a little different from the current world record route held by Deep Freaks. He kind of bodied my time. He starts in Turtle Woods and does this like really wonky warp room movement. I try to minimize warp room movement, so I start with Snogo. And this game's got some movement tech to it. A lot of the main movement will be slide spinning. On ice, you can actually go neutral, and you maintain a bit more of your speed with neutral sliding. Oh, nice! I got Nitro Snipe.
Nice.
And there, I did a neutral slide jump, and it let me carry the momentum of the glitch high jump all the way to the platform. One thing to note is that my level order has to do with masks. Masks are a little different in NST Crash 2 and 3 compared to Crash 1 in that they boost Crash's base movement speed, but they don't actually boost his slide spin speed, and it's still faster to slide spin than just run with invincibility. So you generally only get invincibility in levels where you want to get through enemies or cycles. So that's how I map my movement among the warp rooms.
All about that mask.
Alright, cool. I got a tech that was discovered, I want to say, a month or two ago, called the Hobbs Slide, and it's named after Jay Hobbs, the guy who founded it, the current world record holder for Crash 3 any percent. So basically what I did there, you might have seen at the ending tunnel, I got a huge boost in speed while I was slide spinning. And what basically happens is that if you do a slide spin and you jump and land before the slide spin ends, you get this giant speed boost for as long as you can keep the slide spin going.
It's extremely significant.
It's extremely significant, but it's very tricky to pull off, and it can only be done in places where there's an elevated platform or a hill, because the slide spin animation is too fast for you to do it on flat ground. You can also get it out of stacks of 3 crates, because the last crate will knock you back down to the ground. So I employ it where I can, but it's not, like, it doesn't come up in every level. So this level is Hang 8. I'm going to skip this mask here, because I don't want to get invincibility. It's pretty useless in this section. A
lot of the invincibilities can be kind of slow in this category.
Yeah, there are plenty of invincibilities that are useful, but definitely not all of them.
Yeah, it's not like Crash 1 where like every single one is pretty good. This one is better to skip some of them.
Yeah. So this level has a timer gem. If I reach the end of the level before the time runs out, then I get a timer gem, but this is any percent, and it wastes a good, I want to say 10 seconds to grab the gem. So I do not want to grab it, because what will happen is that I'll grab the gem and I'll throw it up in the warp room, which wastes time, and then a cutscene will trigger where Brio talks to you.
Yeah, so and
that wastes even more time because you can't skip it as quickly in this game.
Yeah.
So it's actually very bad to grab any gem in this category.
Skip the gems here, and the other one in Plant Food, right?
Yeah, Plant Food.
And there's the Cold Hard one.
Also, Cold Hard Crash.
It's a little more difficult to skip, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's definitely fine. Yeah, so the reason I started with Snogo was because of masks. Essentially, Crash Dash is going to take my masks from me, but I want to take 2 masks from this warp room into the next warp room, because I'm going to use an invincibility in the first level of that warp room. So I like to end this warp room on Turtle Woods. And the pits is probably, assuming it all goes right, will probably be the first place where you see a significant amount of Hobbs sliding.
The invincibility Hobbs slide can be really useful.
Yeah, I'm going to go for invincibility here because I can't actually spin through these birds. So I want to be able to kill them to get Hobbs sliding. Alright, so I got the first one.
Nice. You just notice how much faster he goes. He just blitzes through everything when he can hop slide.
Yeah. Yeah. I dropped it a little early there and did a slide jump instead, just because.
Still very solid hop slides there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very hard.
You can carry it farther, but it's kind of hard to get it through that narrow pass, and if I die, it's just not good. So I just dropped it there for safety's sake.
It's very hard to continue
see if I can get this one.
Carry it.
Oh, nope, I didn't get a spin that one. Let's see. Alright, I got it in the backup hop slide.
Nice.
Yeah. That's pretty good pits.
That's very solid. The most of the hop slides that you can do.
Yeah, the pits has a lot of good hop slides, but they're kind of tricky to pull off. I just did what I like to call a mole bounce. Essentially, for these pits, you can either glitch high out of them, or you can slide onto the mole, and then the mole gives you enough height to bounce out of it anyway.
For some reason, it's a lot easier to glitch high out of the ones in the pits than it is in Turtle Woods.
Oh yeah, the Turtle Woods ones are annoying as shit. But the mole bouncing, I don't think anybody else really does them, and like it's not a huge time save, but I would assume it's like a split-second time save, and it looks really cool. So I don't know why nobody does it.
It's definitely faster than spending a million years trying to glitch high out of the hole.
That, or I see a lot of people just like glitch high over the hole, but that puts you in the air for longer. So I would assume that it would be faster to mole bounce.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so this is Crash Dash. This is the first chase level. Like with the original Crash 2, as I stated earlier in the day, it's a lot of memorization.
I don't like this level.
It's fun once you know.
I don't like any of the chase levels. There's one later unbearable, right? Where you can do some really cool hop slides. Saves a ton of time.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see if I get it. I'm not super consistent at it, even though I'm the guy that found it.
This goes to show how hard hop slides are, especially in certain spots of the game.
Yeah, of note is that for a long time, Crash 2 was the most neglected of NST. So for the first like 4 or 5 months of the game's release, I was the only person finding anything in this category. So I know a lot of it just like in and out. And I held the record for the longest time, and then Deep Freaks came out of nowhere and like put even more into the category. So he's the current holder by a good 53 seconds or something. That's Crash Dash. It's pretty straightforward. And then the next level will be Turtle Woods. At the beginning, there is a hop slide that, in my opinion, is probably the easiest one to get in the entire game. So if I mess it up, I'm going to be kind of sad. And essentially, there are mud pits in Turtle Woods that you can actually slide. You're supposed to like wade super slowly through them, but you can actually slide spin through them if you time your slide spins correctly. And jumping out of the mud pit gives you a much lower jump, so you can use that to your advantage to get an easy hop slide on the hill that's right after it. And like I said, I'm gonna try and leave this level.
Can't you also hop slide like out of the portal, like not the portal, the door that opens at the beginning of the level as well? Or is that in a different level?
If you can in this level, it's not that useful.
All
right, so yeah, I got the hop slide. It's not bad. Yeah, it's easier to hop slide out of like some portals than other ones. All right, so I got that hop slide also. It's a really solid Turtle Woods. Oh, I missed one hop slide on a stone, but that one's kind of harder to pull off, so. Yeah. Glitch highing over these pits is very annoying. You have to extend your slide a bit, and if you get stuck in the hole, you can just like get stuck in there for a good few seconds, and it's a killer.
Yeah, they seem like they're deeper than the ones in the pits. It's harder to like try out of them.
Definitely, it's something wrong with them. So yeah, that's all over one. It went really smoothly, aside from a couple hitches. Alright, so the first boss coming up is Ripperoo. He's just as free as he is in the original game. He does the exact same thing. So, not really much to talk about there.
Evil 46 likes to text during this fight.
I look at my phone during that fight, like honestly.
Yeah, it's an easy.
What the? That was odd.
Oh yeah, that's just interesting.
So, one thing I know that it doesn't come up in this warp room, but it comes up in every other warp room, and it's something to be very careful about, is that if you close out a cutscene and the boss portal is about to appear, and you reach the door before the portal actually appears, the door like locked you out of the boss fight and you can't enter it unless you enter another level or you reload the game. So that's something that you have to be very careful about avoiding. It's like if you go too fast, you lose a lot of time to that, and a lot of times you might just kill the run.
Yeah.
So Shadow, remind me, as far as I know, nobody donated to playing as Crash, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to be playing as Coco from this point.
Epic.
So Coco does lose a lot of time, but for the sake of yeah, for the sake of the marathon, I'll do it because it's really fun, and she's a cool character. I like playing as her. You'll also see a lot of her in Crash 3 because she's actually faster to use in that game, like alternating between her and Crash, but we'll get to that after this run. I think my loadless timer might be off.
I didn't even use a timer. I'm glad I didn't.
Well, I didn't set it to... I didn't set it the correct like screen positioning, so I think it might not be getting all of it, but it's whatever.
You could just retime it later if it PBs.
It's not gonna PB. I'm gonna play as Coco.
Oh right.
Coco probably loses like 30 seconds to a minute at least, just because, you know. Well, I'll explain it later on because it will come up. All right, so I'm just gonna slide over to Coco right here. Hi, Coco. Yeah, the camera's being weird. And then talk to Coco. And now we're playing as Coco. So I'm going into the eel deal first because there's an invincibility at the very beginning here that's useful because you can get some hop slides off of it.
I actually haven't seen this yet, so I hope you get it.
Yeah, this is a recent one. I don't think Deep does it. Stu showed it off in a time trial. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to do it. Let's hope I get it. Oh, I got it. Cool.
Nice. Yeah, Deep doesn't do that one.
Yeah, you can actually hug the like smaller sides of these walls and like slide jump, and it lets you land faster.
The triple mask also makes this level a lot less of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I accidentally took some damage there, but it's not a big deal because the next level is going to take these anyway, so I only just want to maintain one for the end of the level. So there are some cool strats you can do on these hangrails where you get to a certain point and then you drop down and you damage abuse. They're kind of tricky to do. I'm not very good at them, and also I'm not sure how much time it actually saves because you also have to wait on these spike bots at the end. So I actually prefer just damage abusing off of that one there. So yeah, that was the eel deal. That went really smoothly.
Hop slides were nice there.
Definitely. Saves a fair bit of time. It lets you travel a lot farther. I want to incorporate them into 100% and 102, but I haven't gotten a run that I have taking 2 masks in there. I have it routed to do so. I just keep messing up Snowbiz because the level's kind of hard. Alright, so this is the second level, chase level. This is a Crash Crush. This is pretty similar to the first one in the first warp room, but it does add in a new obstacle in the sense of the large electric fences, and you have to time your slide spins properly to get under them, otherwise you'll get shocked.
Yeah.
Also note these bridges, you actually move a little slower on them, and it was initially thought that it would be faster to slide jump on them, but I timed it and there's really not much difference, so I just slide spin through them. Also, shout out to Coco, like when she's being chased by the boulder. Like Crash looks like mildly concerned, but Coco has like a look of complete and utter terror on her face.
Yeah, Coco's animations are really fun in this game.
Yeah, it's really fun playing as Coco, and I've specifically routed my Crash 3 route to use her as much as possible. These turbo pads are odd in the sense that if you slide or spin on them at the wrong moment, you actually don't get the boost from them. So that's why you
it's
probably
really
see, like, just
annoying and strange.
Yeah, a lot of the times I just like run up to them if I feel like I'm gonna slide spin for too long. Also notice that in this warp room you can abuse the ice in the ending tunnels, but I kind of messed it up there. Alright, so the next level is Barret. Despite the fact that the incentive was to play as Coco, I actually have to play as Crash. So you can't play as Coco in any vehicle levels or any level or any boss fights. So there will be all the boss fights and 5 levels where I can't play as Coco, unfortunately. And this is part of why she's so slow to play in Crash 2, is that you have to constantly switch between her and Crash. And she doesn't actually gain any speed, so she just loses a lot of time over the course of the run. So this is Barret. I don't like this level.
Well, it is
very
awful.
annoying.
It's one of the these bear levels are notorious.
I don't mind bear physics that much. I don't like ice physics in these levels. The ice can be very, very, very cruel and like unforgiving. Which is, I took that place slow. I usually skip that checkpoint because it's faster to just not get it. But for sake of marathon, I don't want to like die and end up back at the very beginning.
You can go pretty fast in these levels with the charge because it refreshes like when you hit the ground, and you can just keep.
Yeah, so you want to like charge as long as you can, and then jump before the charge runs out, and then when you land, you can charge again.
If you were to do it while just running normally, you would have to wait to be able to charge again.
Yeah. That went pretty solidly.
Yeah, it was good. Those levels are more annoying in the completion categories than they are in the 90% categories.
Yeah, even then, in the completion categories, Barret in this game is a lot less annoying than it is in the original game, just because the box formations are not difficult to get at all. They like scrunch them together, and you also have more maneuverability. I definitely think overall I like the bear movement in this game. It's just the ice is such a pain in the ass sometimes. Alright, now I'm gonna switch back to Coco. Alright, so this is Air Crash, and you're gonna
a cool strategy to it.
Yeah, you're gonna see something that you do not see in the original game, and I'll explain it when I get to it. So, let's get through all of this, and then get this checkpoint. You can actually go to the side of these mines, which is nice to avoid them. Also, for some weird reason, when you play as Coco, you don't get as much vibration on the jet board, and I play with vibration, so it's throwing me off. So I'm going to skip this checkpoint. And then kill this plant, and then I'm going to grab the crystal and just slide into the water. Thank you for the good luck, Wingo.
This is so we can take the secret exit, and it's a lot faster than doing the level normally.
Yeah. So in the original Crash 2, this actually isn't faster because you would have to enter the secret warp room, enter the level that gets you out of the secret warp room, and then exit the level. But in NST, they actually added an elevator in the secret warp room. So you can just grab the crystal, Death Abuse, use the secret exit, and then take the elevator back up to the second warp room. And the person who found this, or at least timed it to see if it was faster, was actually Radmots, like really early into the game's release. And it saves like 8 to 10 seconds, I think. And you only do it twice in the run though. You also do it in Warp Room 4 with digging it, and it saves like 2 seconds there. But every other level, the secret the secret exit is so close to the end of the level, you might as well just finish the level. Alright, so this is Snowbiz. This level's... I like this level, but it's more interesting in 102 and 100%, but it's definitely got some cool stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be annoying.
Yeah, and I did a glitch high off of a glitch high neutral slide jump off of the ice.
Clean.
I used to bring invincibility into this level to avoid these porcupines, but I timed it later after I decided I wanted the invincibility and the eel deal, and I found that it actually didn't save much time in Snowbiz if I went fast enough. Oh, well, I took damage. Oh, it's annoying. Not a huge problem, though. I tried to get a hob slide on those crystals on the side, but I missed them, so not a huge loss.
It's a pretty short hop slide, doesn't save like a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice because the crystal knocks you back down into the ground and then you can get it really quickly, but it's not a big deal if you miss it. Alright, so that's all of Warframe 2. The next fight will be the Komodo Bros, and I'm going to have to switch to Crash before we do that. Oh, the other annoying thing is that when the cutscene triggers, Coco switches to Crash and then immediately switches back. Alright, so this is the Komodo Bros. They're pretty straightforward.
They're extremely
you avoid their hits. Yeah, you avoid their hits and then you hit Joe as close as you can to Mo. Joe is the skinny guy.
I never knew the difference. I never cared to know the difference.
Just casual stroll as Mo is throwing his scimitars at me.
Yeah, he's really getting close to where you're standing. It's very, very hard to avoid his swords, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Extremely difficult.
I'm trying my darndest. Oh, I should actually probably try a little bit more. He was catching up to me. Alright, in the last section he throws two swords at you, so you gotta be careful. The most annoying is when Joe stops spinning like right next to a sword. Alright. And that was Warframe 2. Aside from having to grab Coco, it went pretty smoothly. Alright, so next up is Warframe 3. I'm actually not going to switch to Coco just yet. I'm going to wait for this cutscene to trigger and then I will switch to Coco. And then the first level I'm going to do is Sewer later. There's some cool strats you can do with masks and stuff in this level. And you can also dodge pretty much all of the assholes.
It can be a
like the muddy water, you can like the muddy water, you can slide spin through the deep water, and then I wait that guy out a little bit, and then I can just slide spin right through his flame. If you go too early, you increase the chance of
getting
hit,
you can do it like that.
Yeah. Just be careful here, and I can just glitch high at that guy and either hit him or go right past him like I did.
Nice.
And then here, invincibility is going to be very nice.
It blitz through all the fans.
Yeah.
So you can't really do the fan skip like you can in the OG.
Yeah, you can still do it with two blades, but it takes more time, so it's better to just either damage boost or...
Makes the whole big box crate a lot less of a pain too.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice invincibility to get. And then after this point I don't really need invincibility again, so I just didn't bother waiting on that one.
That one's not really worth it.
Yeah. And then it's easy to dodge both of these guys. So my route tends to vary depending on how many masks I have, especially later in the run. So because I left Sewer later with 2, I'm actually going to do Plant Food next, because this level likes to kill me. I have bad history with this level. I'm pretty sure in my PB, apparently I lose 18 seconds in this warp room as a whole, because I do warp room splits. And I'm almost positive if I were to go back and look at it, it would be a death in Plant Food.
Plant Food is a hard level. It's one of the harder levels in Warp 3.
Definitely. It's got a jump at the beginning that's kind of
yeah,
tricky.
It's pretty tough. You have to extend your slide, like, quite a bit.
It's one of the 2 places I normally choke the level. That and the first, like, one of the whirlpools in the first section. Okay, I didn't die.
Nice, yeah, that's a lot harder than it looks.
And you have to be careful before that first checkpoint, because if you hit the waterfall by accident, it'll kill you. Oh, well, I took damage there, but it's okay, because there's a mask right there. I want to hopefully take a mask towards the last section of this level, because there's a really cool trick I can do.
Shout out to Zox for that trick.
Yeah. Yep.
He's probably not watching this, but shout out to him regardless.
Definitely. And I don't need this mask because I already have 2, and you can't have invincibility on the board. Alright, we're good. Okay, grab this checkpoint.
Nice.
So I'm gonna body slam on the jet board. Now watch what happens, hopefully. So for whatever reason, if you body slam onto the jet board and you get hit the first time, the jet board just keeps going and you eventually just warp to it. So what happened there was the jet board went completely over the platform, and it just saved time just because I don't have to weave around the plants.
It's one of the coolest glitches in the game, for sure.
It's also very useful in 102 and 100% because it lets you break those 2 crates that are next to the plant. So if you get there with a mask, you only have to break the one on the side, and then you can just use that glitch to hit the other 2, and it saves time. Alright. So even though I have this mask, I'm going to give it up and do Bear Down next. And of course I switch to Coco and then have to switch back to Crash. Fortunately, there's 2 levels in this warp room where I have to play as Crash. It's this warp room and warp room 5 are the 2 where there's 2 levels where I can't play as Coco.
Crash 2 is the slowest game to play as Coco in.
For sure.
Crash 1 doesn't lose as much time because you only can't play as her in the boss.
In the
hog levels.
Bosses, the bosses hog ride or hog levels and
the Great Hall.
Great Hall.
Those are the only levels you can't play as her in. And for instance, like if you enter Hog Wild with Coco, they'll switch you to Crash, and then when you come out of the level, you'll be Coco instantly. You won't have to do any of the stuff that he has to do in this game.
This is Bear Down. I like this level less than I like Barrett. It's not as slow as it is in the original game, but it's still like annoying to try and go fast in. Shoutouts to Stuart for finding a lot of the fast tricks in this. One thing I did with these the first set of these ice guys was I jumped to their left, which lets you just dodge them entirely, and that was found by Stuart, I'm pretty sure. Also, no, there was a section where there was like a bunch of like totems that I just like casually strolled through. That is a huge pain in the ass to try and go through fast. I think I've done it once without dying.
Also, shout out to Stuart for being a known NST time trial legend.
Yeah, best NST time trialer for sure. And also best Crash 2 runner overall of the original game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I tried to get a hob slide in that ending section of Bear Down, but I missed it. But it's not a big deal. I'm gonna switch back to Coco for Road to Ruin. This level is kind of tricky in 100% and 102%. It's got a jump that's notorious for being difficult to new runners. I don't have to do that jump in this category, so it's not as bad. I might show it off before doing 105. Just because it's a pretty quick trick. So these green lizards guys, you have to slide into them but the slide hitbox lasts for such a long time that you can do a slide spin and probably still hit them, as long as you don't do the spin too early.
You can also glitch
I got slowed down.
high right over to that
slowed down,
secret gem too, correct?
Yeah, I'll show that one off later if I can also. There's probably be some time between this and 105, I'll just show that off. Alright, that was a really nice Road to Ruin.
Yeah, very solid.
I missed the hop slide in that one also though.
Seems like a hard one to get anyway.
It's actually not that bad. I think the hardest one to get is probably the one in Snow Go. Just because it's right before a hill that you also hop slide on. And if you slide like right into a wall, the game likes to just like eat your input like 100% of the time. So then you'll just jump really late and it'll like buffer the jump. So Unbearable is the third chase level, and I actually can't play as Coco in it because there's a section at the end where you ride Polar. So you need Crash for it. There's a hop slide right at the very beginning of this one. I think I'll try it once and see if I get it, and if I don't, then I'll just do the level normally. But you can actually bring masks into this level. It's very nice. That's why I save it for last and right after Road to Ruin. I'm gonna see if I get this. I've been messing it up recently. Nice. Oh, I dropped it. Oh well. So, you can use the platform at the starting tunnel to get a hop slide, and you can carry it all the way past this electric fence, all the way to like the last hole of this section. And it's really good, and Deep gets it, and that's probably where he saves most of the time over me in Warp 3. Deep definitely perfected a lot of stuff that I like conceptualized, so he's definitely deserving of the record right now. And I'm just gonna hit all these mines, I guess.
It's not a Crash 2 speedrun if you don't hit mine in these.
Oh, for sure. There was this situation where I spun on the turbo pad, so I didn't get all of the speed from it.
Yeah, it's weird how some of the properties of stuff like that works in this game.
So this is the section with Polar. The game's kind of rude in the sense that if I hit any of the electric fences in this section, even if I have masks, I will die. But I can jump over them, so it's fine. And that went smoothly.
I didn't know it would kill you even if you had masks. That's like a huge thing to look
I didn't
over.
know that until yesterday, actually. I found that out yesterday.
Pretty epic.
I was doing practice and I was like, oh, shit. Alright, so next up is the boss fight with Tiny. He's kind of RNG.
Tiny skip right
I don't
now.
know. Oh yeah, there is a frame perfect skip in Tiny where you can kill him in the first phase. I think it's happened to one person once. It's actually a lot easier to trick Tiny in this version, though. So, like, you can force him down corners much easier than you can in the original. Or, like, in the original, he's too smart and, like, he just won't fall for it. Whereas, like, he's dumb as shit in this game, so. Alright. That was a little weird, but I made it work.
It's a fairly straightforward boss fight. It's just depending on where he jumps and where the things are.
Yeah. Crash 2's boss fights in general are extremely straightforward.
The really hard one is Engine.
Yeah. It's the hard one to optimize, definitely. Okay, that's unfortunate, but I'll work with it. That's not gonna work. This is really annoying. There we go.
Very bad placement of the red platforms.
Yeah, normally that would be good placement. It's just that they were on the opposite sides of where I was.
Kind of hard to
so.
like get over there in time and trick him.
And if you try to trick Tiny too early, he won't fall for it, which is why he just diagonaled there. All right, so that's Warp Room 3. That went pretty smoothly. Warp Room 3 is usually my weakest one. Something always goes wrong there.
Very solid. You just didn't get the hop slides in unbearable. Everything else was fine.
Yeah. Alright. Now for Warp Room 4, and switch back to Coco. I actually could have done that in the Warp Room because there's no starting cutscene here. I'm going to start with Behaving because I'm going to do Behaving and then Ruination. There's a damage abuse you can do in Ruination if you take the mask from Behaving into it, which is why I start with this. And it saves a bit of time.
Warp Room 4 has, like, the coolest levels, in my opinion.
Yeah, Warp Room 4 is definitely the nicest Warp Room. In the original and in this. They're just really cool levels. They're kind of hard, but they're cool. So that pit I just slide jumped over actually has an annoying property where if you fall into it, you take a while before you actually die.
Now, can't you? Can't you get hop slides off the beehives? Really hard.
You can, but it's like stupid difficult and not worth doing, in my opinion. Because if you try it, like there's only one place where you get enough distance where it'd be worth doing. Somehow I didn't slide under that fence. There's one spot where it would be worth doing because of the amount of distance it would gain, but it's over the diggable dirt. Oh yeah, this is like brown dirt you can dig under, which is how you're supposed to avoid the bees, but I go fast enough where it doesn't matter.
It's actually slower.
But yeah, if you accidentally hop slide wrong and you like miss the spin input, then you won't you'll accidentally dig into the ground and you'll lose even more time, so I just don't go for it. It's just like a small section at the very beginning where it's the diggable dirt with the 3 nitros on the side. So like it's not even a huge section. I'm gonna be safe and just hit this nitro detonator. You can go over the...
I feel like it would be decent at the end, that beehive at the end, if you could carry it.
Yeah, but it's the same problem where it's like hard to get. So unfortunately I did not take a mask out of Behaving, so I'm gonna have to wait in one section of Ruination probably. This level can be a pain, but it's not too bad in any percent. Hopefully. There are some corner cuts you can go for that I'm not going to because they skip checkpoints, and I don't want to accidentally die in the marathon. During an actual attempt, I would skip corners, but it skips like 2 of the 4 checkpoints in the level, so...
It's definitely not a bad level if you're waiting on stuff and not skipping corners, but if you're trying to do it
fast, yeah, it can be tricky. So these flames right here are the ones I need to... Oh, wow. Okay, so I died.
Epic.
That's actually really bad because that puts the cycle to be very unfavorable.
That actually showcases a common theme among NST where he was on the ledge but he kind of slipped off, and that's just kind of how the physics in NST work. If you're too much on the edge, you'll just get slipped off.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I think I mentioned it during the Crash 1 run, but
it didn't happen.
Crash and Coco have pill hitboxes, so yeah, I skipped a corner cut there that would have skipped that checkpoint because I just don't want to die. And let's see if I can get this down right.
Surprisingly, I didn't get ledged like once in that run. All the mistakes were like my fault.
I messed up the camera. Hold on. There we go. So I got a corner cut there that was nice, but I messed up the positioning and I had to rework the camera.
I've never seen that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. It happens if you land in the wrong spot, and I did. So.
The camera's very weird in this game overall.
Yeah. Yeah, the trigger for the camera is like earlier in that section, so. Alright, so I did bring 2 masks out of this, so I'm gonna go into Hanging Out. And the Hanging Out mask theory, or mask abuse that is in the original game, carries over into NST, but it's done in a slightly different fashion. Which you'll see if I get to it, hopefully. I didn't get this in the Hondo run earlier today, so I'd like to get it now.
Oh yeah, invincibility is stupid good at hanging out.
Yeah. So normally I can slide spin through this asshole, but when I was practicing with Coco, I actually got hit, so I'm just gonna wait it out. I'll be a little patient here also, just because I really want to get this, so... Also, no, Coco's hangrail climbing animation looks faster than Crash's, but it's actually not. She just moves her arms quicker, but she doesn't actually move any faster.
I prefer her animation for most things, honestly.
Yeah, it looks much nicer. Coco's the best. Everybody who disagrees is wrong.
I just wish they weren't
so I got the invincibility.
Like, use her in pretty much every level.
Yeah, so the hangrails are faster with invincibility, but it's even faster to just slide spin on these pipes. So yeah. There's something similar in the original Crash 2 where if you have good zigzag, you can just zigzag across the pipes. It's a similar concept, but instead you just slide spin across them, and it's much faster than the hangrails. As opposed to, I think it's just marginally faster than the hangrails in the original. Don't quote me on that. Up. Alright.
Beautiful Nitro RNG.
Yeah. Yeah, Nitro RNG is one factor of NST, in that the Nitros like to jump really high, and sometimes they just hit you like that, and you can't do anything about it. Thankfully, it didn't happen in Ruination. That's one of the worst places where it can happen. Alright, so I did manage to take at least one mask out of hanging out, so I'm going to go right into digging it, because this is the other level where invincibility is extremely useful.
Digging it has some pretty insane hop slides that you can carry throughout it.
Yeah, we'll see if I can get them. There's actually a hop slide at the very end of the level that if you were to get it perfectly, it would save time over taking the secret exit, but it would be tough to pull off, and I don't think anybody's done it in a run. But you can carry it from like the last checkpoint all the way to the end of the level. Oh, well, I missed that hop slide. I got this one. Alright, I got this one. Oh, shit. That guy almost messed me up, though, so I dropped it.
Yeah, I got straight cut you right there.
That's the annoying thing about that hop slide, is that guy. Alright, so this invincibility coming here is the one that I want. See if I can get the hop slide out of it, but it lets me run through all of these electric fences. I didn't jump, so I'm just not going to get the hop slide here, I guess. I'm really good at the hop slides in Warp 1, but I'm kind of shaking on the ones in Warp 4 and beyond. The digging ones are kind of tricky, though, but you would be able to carry it all the way up to this checkpoint, and theoretically farther than that, but nobody's going to get it through that tiny platform.
Yeah, you could theoretically carry it all the way to, like, that beehive, couldn't you?
Yeah, but you'd have to be, like, really damn good at it. Alright, I have to wait out this. Actually, I could probably damage abuse through this fence, because I'm not going to need these masks in Cold Hard Crash.
Sure that time trial does that.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not sure, though. I don't really follow the time trial.
The damage abuse wasn't intentional, but it's not unwelcomed. So I'm going to take the secret exit here because it saves just a little bit of time over finishing the level. It's also a lot safer. This one saves about 2 seconds, I would estimate. The reason this one doesn't take as long is because you have to go up 4 flights of warp rooms. Or it doesn't save as much time, rather. But it still is faster and safer, so worth going for sure. The only way it's not is if you get the crazy hob slide at the end, but as I said, I don't think anybody's gotten it yet. So this is Cold Hard Crash. I'm going to try and really hard to not die in this level, because taking the death route is much faster than doing the level normally.
By like a large margin, you skip like over half the level by doing.
Yeah. So I could have gotten a hop slide off of that huge stack of crates. I'm not super well versed in it, and I want to have this mask for damage abuse. So for the sake of safety, I just didn't go for it. This part's annoying. That section with the ice and the seal likes to drop your jump, and it's really, really annoying. It was a little off in my positioning there, so I just waited a bit.
Yeah, you would have gotten hit.
Yeah, for sure. And there was where I wanted to damage abuse on the TNT. I don't want the invincibility right here before the death route, because then I won't get the invincibility in the death route, and that's the one that matters. And I hugged the wall there to avoid that penguin, because penguins, when they're spinning, have really dumb hitboxes, and I didn't want to get hit.
Penguins have dumb hitboxes in general.
Yeah.
Like most things in this game, just really questionable hitboxes.
Alright. So I want to get this invincibility.
It can be an awkward invincibility to grab with ice, but...
Oh, also, there's a gem at the end of this path that I need to try really hard to avoid. There we go, I got it. If you slide into the wall at the very end, you'll skip that gem. That was also discovered by Stuart, and shout out to him for saving 10 seconds in the run.
Known legend that he is.
Stuart probably innovated this run, this category, the second most next to me. Actually, that's without a doubt, he definitely did. Okay, I missed the jump. This section is kind of annoying. Alright, good pace. Alright, so next up is a boss fight with Engine. This one's got some neat stuff to it, so hopefully it all goes well.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff that was found recently in this boss fight.
Yeah. Switch back to Crash, to switch back to Coco, to switch back to Crash, to switch back to Coco. Coco's great in this game, I swear. Alright, so this fight is a bit trickier to do. You can still do the double arm strat, but it's a lot more precise, so we'll see if I get it. It's not looking like it. You need to get like 2 hits at the very beginning to get it consistently, and I didn't get that, so I'll probably miss double arms. Double arm probably saves like 15 seconds, I would argue. 10 to 15 at least, something like that. Yeah, I messed up these arms pretty badly.
It's a lot more precise than the original.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Just being able to hit him in general.
I messed up this right arm real bad.
This looks like how I would be playing during the fight, honestly.
Yeah. So the shoulders are a bit more annoying. They have a lot more health now. They have, I think, 12 hit points each as opposed to 5. But there's still ways to quickly get them. I'm not doing it right. Yeah, this is kind of slow. Yeah, you can get 2 hits on the shoulders each, but I got 1 each of those times. I'm just positioning myself wrong. There we go. There we go. I had to be more to the center. There we go. As far as I know, double shoulders is not a thing. So hopefully after I break this last shoulder, I don't mess up the strat and lose 2 minutes in the fight. So in this last phase, he's going to fire and destroy the platform. You can actually damage abuse to get him in 1 cycle. Yes, okay, I got it. That's very significant for a number of reasons, because not only does it let you kill him faster, it also dodges some RNG in the last section of that fight. In that, in NST, after Engine destroys the first platform, whether he goes to the left or the right is random.
Yeah.
And before Deep thought about doing that, it was really annoying to hit him, run away, and then hope he went to where you went. And you could react to it, but it was kind of precise.
Any elimination of RNG is appreciated.
Yeah. Alright. So the first level I'm going to go into is Night Fight. The one stipulation I really want in this warp room... I forgot to switch to Coco, my bad, guys. I'll switch to Coco for Piston and Spaced Out. I can't do it for Rocket and Pack Attack. But the one stipulation for this Warp Room is that I really, really want to bring 2 masks into Piston it away. It's very, very important. So this is a knife fight. This is a dark level. It looks gorgeous.
It's one of the better looking levels in 2. It looks really good.
For sure. Alright.
They did a really good job with the scenery and how the game looks over.
Yeah, the game definitely looks gorgeous. Like, say what you will about how it performs. I'm personally of the camp that while it's not perfect, it still performs pretty well, and I love this game.
It's solid overall.
Yeah. There are some people who vehemently hate it, Pete.
I'm just in the camp of I hate it sometimes, but overall I like it enough.
I mean, I hate it sometimes. I hate everything sometimes.
Yeah.
If you've watched me stream, I get pretty angry a lot.
Yeah.
Which is just a problem I've had my whole life, and I'm working on.
Speedrunning doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I'm working on maintaining my composure, though. Alright, so far this is going nice.
I don't even get angry, I just get tilted and stop streaming. I need to stop working on that too.
I'm super stubborn, though, so like if I get tilted, I just keep going, because I'm like, no, I'm not going to end it like that. Those spike bots are probably the most annoying thing to get through. Alright, so that worked. For some reason, the ending tunnels in Warp 5 are like tilted to like the left or right some reason. So it's kind of annoying to like slide spin through them. Alright, so I managed to take 2 masks out of Knife Fight, which is like the best case scenario. If I had taken damage there, I would have had to go into Pack Attack. And the worst case scenario would have been I didn't take 2 out of Knife Fight or Pack Attack, and then I would have had to give up some fast strats and Spaced Out. Alright. Since I forgot to switch to Coco, I'm going to do that now. Alright, Coco will be with us for 2 more levels, but after Spaced Out, I won't be able to play as her. Unless I like take an unintentional damage in Piston, at which point I'll do Pack Attack first. Alright, so invincibility is super vital in this level
because important one in the whole run.
Yeah. I would actually argue it's more important than hanging out. So this is important because you can't 3D range in this version of Piston It Away, so you have to stop these pistons from moving, and this is kind of slow, but still getting the job done. If I'd been a little faster, I could have made this piston cycle also, but I had some hiccups.
Still solid stuff overall.
Yeah.
Doing it at all is better than just not. It takes forever to wait for those pistons.
Yeah. The great thing is that the second invincibility in this level is also very, very vital. I'm actually going to bounce on this crate, because it gives me a bit more distance to work with. Yo, Dep, thanks for the good luck. So it lets me get through all these guys. It lets me get through these pushing assholes. And bouncing on the crate actually gave me just enough distance to get through this last pushing asshole.
Nice.
The strat I want to do here. I damage abused intentionally on that nitro to get through that last piston cycle.
That's pretty creative. I've never seen that.
Yeah. That one I threw in like fairly recently. And then, actually, I just realized because of the fact that I left with 1 mask because of the damage beast, I'm actually going to do Pack Attack next. Because I want to take 2 into Spaced Out as well. So there's just going to be a lot of switching between Crash and Coco in this Warp Room just because of the way the route is. So this is the first of the 2 jetpack levels. It's also the harder of the 2. I will probably take it a little safe, because if I go too fast, it's very likely that I'll take damage, and I'd rather not do that.
Shout out to Joester98 on this level.
Yep, Joester98 Pack Attack.
You ran in here yesterday?
Yep. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna wait on this asshole. So you can't phase through the assholes like you can in the original, but you can hit them twice before they have a chance to attack you. So, same thing pretty much. I don't really need that checkpoint, so I'm just going to dodge it. It's actually kind of slow to spin. It slows you down a little bit, so I just decided to not go for it. We're in a good spot right now. Okay, I was afraid I was going to get hit there. Good spot. Good spot. Good spot. All right, nice. We got out with 2 masks.
Spaced out has really cool damage abuse strats. Make it a ton faster.
Definitely. Spaced out's probably, well, this entire category is my claim to fame in Crash 2 90% because I did come up with a lot of this. But Spaced Out's probably the one I'm most proud of, because for the longest time people were just going through Spaced Out so slowly, and I was like, guys, I will be learning you today. So hopefully I just do it right. There's like 3 damage abuses in this level.
It's the last difficult level of the run too. The jetpack level.
After this is Rocket, and Rocket's like really straightforward, and Cortex is even easier in this game than he is in the original.
Very solid run, honestly.
Yeah. No deaths, I think. Oh, no, there was the one in Ruination.
Yeah, there's one, that was it.
I messed it up. Oh well. I'll go for a slightly less one. I was supposed to damage boost on the first tentacle. Oh no, come on. The piston went down right as I was trying to jump.
That's
so
unfortunate.
Okay, so no damage abuse.
Yeah, rip damage abuses.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you have no mass here, you just have to go through this so painfully slow. This is the way that people used to do it. And I was like, guys, stop. And then eventually Deep listened and stopped. I think Stuart never stopped, though, before he stopped playing the game. There is another damage boost at the end of the level that I can use, though, because the level gives you a mask. And I guess the original strat was like to hold on to the mask for the invincibility at the end, and I was like, guys, just damage abuse, it's faster. For some reason, that guy didn't want to go into the nitro. I don't know why. All he would do is die. Damage is here. Oh no. Okay, that worked out.
Nice.
Not the best way to do it, but it worked out.
Isn't too bad for not being able to do the damage abuses.
Yeah, the death was really unfortunate, but still not terrible. Alright, so that's the last we're going to see of Coco, because I have a jetpack and a boss level left, so everybody say bye to Coco. She'll be back in Crash 3. You'll see a lot of her in Crash 3. So if my loadless timer is correct, I entered this level at 47:51 flat.
Very good, considering you used Coco and you only died like twice.
Yeah. But it was like a .00, which was impressive. So this is Rocket. This is the much easier of the jetpack levels. I'm still kind of notorious for messing it up, especially in the original game, so I'll try and not die.
Unfortunately, you have to use your jetpack in this game.
Yeah. I don't mind it too much. Those electric wires are probably the most annoying obstacle.
Yeah, they can be really, troll.
Yeah. That's why the ones in Pack Attack, I like go above them at the beginning, because that's like the only way I can like consistently dodge them. Also, shout out to the jetpack music being the dankest thing in Crash Bandicoot ever.
Toxic Waste has pretty good music.
Yeah, that's also really good in NST. Alright. So all we have left is the fight with Cortex. Like I said, it's even easier because the game like gives you a little alert above Cortex's head when you're able to hit him. So timing doesn't actually stop on the final hit because this game actually does give you the running shoes when you beat him. So timing stops when I close out the menu for the running shoes. Yeah, this
It's a weird rule, honestly.
I mean, it's a good spot to stop. This is the last input is where the run stops. Although considering the fact that you can quit out of the fight, it would probably be better to stop when the game fades into the last load screen. But too late to change it now.
Crash 2 and 3 both have weird rules on when it ends. Like you enter the...
No, Crash 3's makes sense because it's
Yeah.
I guess not. Because you could quit out on the cutscene, but I don't know. It's fine. Alright, we're almost at time. And time.
Nice.
So my load list says that was like, well, RTA that was a 1 hour 56, which considering that I've played as Coco was pretty solid. And then my load list time says it was 50:01, which is also very solid.
Considering you used Coco, which loses like...
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, honestly.
Yeah, if you, for say you didn't use Coco, it'd probably been on low 49 or high 48, which is solid as fuck.
Definitely. All right, so I'm gonna show off I'm gonna show off the Road to Ruin jumps before I transition to Crash 3 because they're really cool jumps, but you don't see them in any %. There's a lot of cool stuff you don't see in any %, but this is probably the coolest. So I'll go ahead and show them off.
And while you do that, I'll be right back.
Alright, sounds good.